Does your koi pond water look like this, green and full of algae? Well, I'm going to show you how to get it to look like this, and how to keep it that way. My name's Creekstain. Stay tuned. How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to talk about how to get your pond water clear and how to keep it that way. We're going to dive right into it. Let's go. If you're here from the DIY water feature for your yard video, hold your horses. We're going to talk about an all-in-one unit, and then I'll show you the external type. Alright, so the secret and the brains and master behind the whole operation, it's called a UV clarifier. Alright, now there's two different types, and I'll show them to you. There's going to be an internal or an all-in-one unit, but I also do have an older external unit. So those are your options on those two, but they're the same thing. One is submerged in the water, one sits outside of the water. That's the only difference. So both types are going to use the same bulb, but I want to show you the bulb so you know what it looks like. So, is a 9-watt UV bulb. Okay, the 2-pin, that's what they all run. The internal, the external, they all run the same bulb, alright? So this is the new one. And then here's the burnout one. So there's a little light indicator built into the unit, and it wasn't glowing. And unfortunately for me, where I live, Amazon is a week away, and it was too far to drive to a big box store. So I had to wait a week, and that's why it got so green. So we're gonna see how many days it takes, but really all we got to do is pull the unit out and change this bulb. So let's get to doing that. The first thing we need to do is we need to cut the power. We need to unplug that pump. Okay, so we're going to reach in there, we're going to grab the unit, pull it out, and we're going to set it to the side. Now we can work on taking the spigot off, like the actual fountain part. It's amazing how tight hand parts can get when you tighten them by hand. I needed pliers. Okay, so now that we got that off there, we can take the lid off. There's two clips, one on each side. Then we have a foam pre-filter. Alright, now we can pull out an aggregate box, and then we can pull out the whole assembly, the light tube, and the pump. Now this light tube right here is where the bulb goes. It goes on the inside, and the water runs around it, and the light kills the bacteria. So that's how it works. So we need to get the light in there. And a little bit of how's this come apart. Oh, yep, little bit of, oh yeah, right there. Now yours might be different, but I've got a little lock, like a lever lock, and then you untwist it. Okay, so that is where the light goes. Now you're going to ask, why isn't there a bulb there? And that's because when I checked to see if it was burnt, I just put it back together because I needed to run the pump. But now we can throw the new bulb in, and this one actually has a little rubber cap that goes on the end of the bulb, which is kind of nice because then you don't have to touch it. But it just pushes in, and then when you get it snapped in, it's in and it's good to go. On the subject of touching the bulb with your fingers, the finger oils will shorten the lifespan of the bulb because the bulb gets hot. So it's kind of like a halogen bulb in a car. Don't touch it with your fingers. Okay, then it's just putting it back together opposite of how you took it apart. And that's pretty much it. We throw everything back in that box. We make sure it's all good to go, nice and tight. We can throw that aggregate box in there. It's just a box of rocks. And you can throw that filter on top. And you can lock it all down with the lid. Put our little adapter on, and then we can put our spout on. And then we're ready to go back in the water. Set it down on the bottom, and then we just need to go and plug it in. All right, it looks like everything's good to go. We are back in business. Our water level is looking a little low, so we're going to top it off. So when you top off the pond with new water, you do need to use a water conditioner that's going to knock down the chlorine in the water. And a good affordable product that I've used for many years, it's called Prime. I'm not affiliated with them, it just works. So it's about 6:45, 7 o'clock. So I'm going to be back in the morning, and we're going to see what this looks like at the 12-hour mark, and we'll look in the evening as well. All right, so it's 7 a.m. and you can see a little bit further down in there. So we'll see what it looks like tonight at 7 p.m. and that'll be a full 24 hours. All right, so it's been a full 24 hours, and you can start to see the actual sidewall of the stock tank. So it is working. My guess is it's going to take about 7 days, but we'll see you in the morning at the 36-hour mark. Okay, it looks like we're getting a little more depth, but it's not super impressive yet. It basically hasn't changed. Is this thing even working? I don't know. I don't remember it taking this long. Well, we have made it to the 60-hour mark, and you can actually tell there's a fish in there. So, it's working. We just need to let it keep going. He seems a lot happier. He's swimming around. He's really active again. It makes me happy. 84 hours later. All right, so we're getting a little bit more depth out of it, but we've still got quite a ways to go. Okay, now we can start to see down in there. You see the stems? We're starting to get some really good clarity. We can see down about, I would say, 8 to 10 inches. And it's looking pretty darn good. Alright, so we're at the 120-hour mark. I did do a top off and added just a small amount of prime. But we'll see what it looks like. And we have the start of day 6. It looks like we've made a dramatic change, and it's starting to really get clear. It's starting to look like a nice pond. We got a little bit to go yet, though. So it's pretty gloomy out, but you can really see the bottom. Hey, look at that! Coming along quite nice. Just a little bit longer. All right, we're at 180 hours and we are done. It's not going to get any clearer than this. You're still going to have stuff on the sides. Algae is actually a good thing because I always see them suckling on it and eating it in between feedings. So, how long does it take to go from green and nasty to super clear and sweet? It takes 180 hours. And, you know, depending on how bad yours is, it could take a little less, it could take a little more. But it definitely works. It's chemical free. Now, I know you're going to say, but you put chemicals in it, Creek Stain. That is only to knock the chlorine down. That doesn't do anything for the clarity. That's just when you add fresh water. So if you don't want to add prime at all, you can fill up a bucket or whatever you're going to use and let it sit outside for 24 to 48 hours, and the chlorine and everything will evaporate out of it. So that's an option for you as well. All right, you saw my all-in-one unit in my backyard. Let's go up front and I'll show you that DIY water feature and an external water clarifier. All right, so here's an example of an external UV water clarifier. It's basically just the light tube, but you got the tube coming off the pump. It's going to go down to the clarifier. Clarifier is going to come back out and then up out the spout. So that's how it works. While I got you here, I want to show you a couple examples. So this is Creeping Jenny. It loves water. I got a big bed of it over here. But you could also do like Equisetum hymale. But those are a couple different plants that like water. So a couple different options for you. If you watch my other video, I actually have that hymale in there, sitting on some bricks. But, you know, and those hoses are a little bit harder to hide. But once you get back, you know, a little bit, it's not all that bad at all. Well, there it is. I showed you two different ways to get your water clear. I showed you the internal all-in-one UV clarifier, and I showed you the external version. Now, depending on your setup, it might negate which one you need to use. Now, if you liked my fountain and you want to know how I built it, I put the video right up here. I'm still waiting for you to click it.